Hey, it's MK, and I am back with Baby Got Scraps. And today I have got a lot of scraps. So I pulled out this scrap of a cut file. Sorry, I keep wanting to call them die cuts. That I actually used as a mask. And this is the result of the end of the cut file. And I thought, you know what? It's going to go great on a layout. I also have tons of scrap little pieces of wood that I cut apart a long, long time ago to do like, kind of like a staircase looking layout. I'm not really sure how to describe it, a woven layout or something, that I thought that I would add to this layout, considering the photos that I'll be using. And then as I sort through all of the stuff that I have in a pile, oh my gosh, it is a ton. I have these striped pieces. Yeah, they're all over the place, you guys. I finally gave up trying to gather them all together. But where these striped pieces came from is it was an old close to my heart like Stargazer collection. And they were actually red and white stripes that I took an orange ink to and kind of made it a little bit more closer to the October afternoon. Now, these are the photos that I'm going to be using. And notice how busy they are because of all of the planks and ropes and things that this orangutan gets to play on. And so I wanted my layout to reflect that. Now, I won't be using every single little piece on this layout because as I'm building it, I realize that it is just a bit too busy. But there are lots and lots of elements that do end up getting added to this layout. So I also have a torn pocket page. I've got these, the papers that I showed a long, long time ago. Wow, I can't find the camera today. The papers that I showed you a while ago that were black with the printed flowers on them, I have used those on about three other zoo layouts as well, and I just can't seem to finish them up. So hopefully I will today. I have some green pieces left over from a Stampin' Up! Collection. I have these two Heidi Swap pieces from two different collections, but I'm not sure if I'm going to end up adding them because this one here with the green and the pink, palm fronds or whatever they're called, it's just a little off compared to the other colors that I have going on. I have some wood grain pieces. Now, these are actually card fronts that I have received in a card kit. Now, I no longer subscribe to that card kit because it was just becoming overwhelming trying to figure out what to do with all the little bits and pieces, considering just in the last year, my craft room has pretty much doubled in supplies, and I have no idea, honest, how that happened. I just don't. I have this amazing, these, I'm behind on myself. I apologize. These little pieces were all cut from a Project Life card. It was a border of some sort, and I just cut them all out. I have 3 Flair from Dottie About Flair. That world paper that has the gold globes on it is also a Stampin' Up! Paper that I just want to use up because it's gorgeous. Really super gorgeous. I have a cut apart or a cardstock piece that I used on a cut file that I plan on using. And then, of course, my background piece, which is a really old, close to my heart cardstock that I just plan on covering it all up. So honestly, it didn't matter what color it was. All right, I'm going to cut down my photos. I'm making them the exact same size, even though one is vertical and one is horizontal. I just want them to be the exact same size, and then I'll figure out how I want them on my layout later. I just wanted to get them cut and matted so that way I can get them out of the way. It's kind of sort of the very first thing I always do because then I know how much I can add to a layout based off of how large my photos are. So it does kind of sort of help to have the photos ready to go, especially the matting and everything, because even though your photos are a certain size, once you add that mat, it becomes the next size up. I know that it does seem obvious, but I have noticed that when I go to build the layout first and don't incorporate my photos as I go, a lot of the building gets covered up because now my photos are just too ginormous compared to what I had envisioned. So I always try to do my photos first. Now, the first thing I want to do is figure out how I want all of these wood grain pieces to go. And I knew that I wanted them to go either on the left or on the right as a panel piece. And what I'm doing is I'm going to ink all of the edges because of the fact that they have a white back to them, which means that they're white core as well. So I'm just trying to get rid of that white and also to make them look like really huge pieces of wood, because again, I am trying to get into like the photo, like this is the orangutan's play area, and oh my gosh, does it ever seem so busy. I mean, it's when you first walk up to the attraction, it's actually kind of sort of hard to even find the orangutan because it's so busy. I mean, just crazy busy. And then I do have to say that this is the boy orangutan, and the female one was in their little house in the building, taking care of her baby. Oh, she has such the cutest little baby ever. Oh my God, it's so cute. Anyways. It's adorable. I wish I could remember their name. They did make a big deal of it when she was first born, but I apologize, I don't remember. All right, so once I get the background completely figured out and how I was going to actually put it all together, I'm just going to make sure that everything is inked and everything is, this not really the same, but they all have the same distress done on them before I put anything like officially down. So I don't actually glue anything down until minute 20 because I want to make sure that it all looks good before I go through and actually commit. That's a good word. I have commitment issues. Yeah, that's true. So I lay things out first to see how I like them and the way that I want them to work. Like, I really wanted to cover up that, I keep saying the word like, oh my God. I wanted to cover up the fact that the print on the green paper goes in a circle. In fact, I don't even know where that paper is from or where I got it. I think I got it in a kit where it's one of those kits where everything's kind of pre-cut for you. I struggle with those because I don't scrapbook like that, awkwardly enough, because I used to sell kits like that. Isn't that weird? I don't scrapbook like that. Maybe I used to, or maybe I wanted to, but I can tell you that I don't. And so I was just trying to use up the panel and try to make it work for my layout, but the roundness wasn't really working until I switched out the cut file for that orange piece, and then I really liked how the round piece, the round print was working. All right, enough about that paper. Oh my God, move on. I am just basically taking all of these wood grain pieces and scattering them around my layout so that way it looks like the orangutan's little play area, like he's got all the different little levels of wood going on. And so I kind of wanted to pull that into my layout and do just this really fun stacked layout. I don't know, you guys. Then I went into my stash and pulled out these teeny tiny little fasteners, and oh my gosh, are these not the coolest little things? Now, don't get me wrong. They're tiny and they're a pill, but the texture that they add once I have everything put together on this layout is just amazing. I couldn't tell you. I love how it looks. All right, so I'm going to take a few minutes and glue everything down as I go. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be inking the edges and then poking my holes and then going through and putting my brads in where they go, but only in the corners of the visible ones. Now, if they're tucked under something, I'm not going to bother because I don't want the bulk underneath a bunch of layers. I just want it where it's visible, if that makes any sense. So, but yeah, I wanted all of these boards to look like they were stapled or nailed onto my page. And these little brads, and as tiny as they are awesome. And I kept thinking to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, if I would have used enamel dots to do all of these teeny tiny little brads, that would be astronomical. I don't think I would have had the exact same color to do all of them. They would have been all multicolored or grays and blacks and maybe whites used with an acrylic marker. Yeah, anyways. But that is definitely one of the things. Now, I do have to tell you guys that the cut file does not really have anything to do with this layout. It was just something that I wanted to use and use it all up, to be honest. That's the only thing that I intentionally had. Now, anything that is in front of the photo, like that one little plank that is on my lower right photo, I will be using pop dots to put it down, so that way I can get a little bit of dimension on this layout, especially when I'm adding flare to it. I don't like just the flare to be the only dimension on the layout. I like other things to be popped up as well. I also have to tell you guys that this layout gets very busy very quickly. So be prepared for that, because I don't stop at just the wood grain. Just so you know. I am also gluing as I go. So once I am completed, so that way I can kind of sort of keep everything in the order that I want it to go in, or in the arrangement that I want it. I didn't want to have to guess. I've made the mistake one too many times of putting a layout together the way I want it, and then removing everything so I could go back through and glue it all together, and then getting mad at myself because I can't for the life of me remember how I had it exactly the way I wanted it. So this is my good, I don't want to say interpretation, but this is how I go about resolving that issue and not getting mad at myself anymore. Yes. So I just go a little bit at a time. I've already glued my green piece down, which I think I forgot somewhere through here. I think I forget that I glued that green piece down, to be honest. I'm full of truths here today. I don't lie to you guys. But I do think that I forgot about the green piece, and I double check it because I needed to glue something else down. I think it's when I glue the orange striped piece down, which is soon, by the way. I think I glue that down very, very soon. Or did I glue it down already? Did I miss it? I don't know. Who knows? Normally I talk about how cute, this attraction was, and, why it's so cute to document and all that other stuff. But honestly, the only thing I really wanted to document about all of this, I did not glue it down. No, I did not. Is the fact that it's the jungle gym. It is the orangutan's play area that really attracted me to, to see the orangutan. The mom and the baby are way more cuter than, the dad just sitting there like a lump on a log and saying, go away because my kids are getting more attention than I am. Honestly, he was just sitting here, and every now and then he kind of waved his arm, or he also scratched his head, things like that. But he just sat there. It was early, super early in the morning, you guys. We usually go to the zoos right bright and early, and then we are, done in the mid-afternoon, so that way it's less crowded. I have noticed that it gets a little bit crowded around 10 o'clock, and then right at noon is when it gets a little less crowded because of the fact that, people are trying to take off and go home for lunch instead of spending the money and have lunch at the zoo, because, it's spendy. All right. So I've tried to ink all of the edges of my green leaves, the brighter ones, only because they are so bright. But I do have to tell you guys that I get so excited when I start spreading them around and liking where I put them that I totally forgot to continue to ink the, leaves. So only that upper portion gets inked, and halfway through the gluing process is when I realize that, and then I don't even notice it. But I do want to tuck and weave all of these peach flowers in with the planks, I guess is a good word for them, because I think that it gives a little bit more of the greenery. It brings in that green, and it's moves it around. It also brings in some movement, and I get to use up the last two pieces of that black floral paper. I fussy cut out all the peach flowers as they were, because clearly I didn't have full flowers, but I just used them all up and was able to tuck them all in certain spots around my photos and the wood and all that stuff. I do really like how it turns out, even though I just keep going and it's nonstop, more and more and more on this layout. I apologize. So here is the first flare that I will be using for today, just trying to tuck it in just like I do with the flowers. That way it kind of sort of looks like a flower, but it's the same color and the same, I want to say shape, but it's not the same. So I do end up, really liking how they blend in really well with the flowers, just to give it. And then the dimension as well is another thing that also blends in, because I used some dimensionals on the wood planks too. So, but yeah, I definitely wanted these pictures for the guys' play place, the orangutans' play area. That just looks so fun, doesn't it? I'm just saying out loud. I think it looks like fun, and I wouldn't mind if I was a little kid still to go out there and try, swinging on those ropes. They're like huge. I don't even know what they're called because they're flat. They're not ropes. They're flat, almost like straps, canvas straps, and it was phenomenal. I did cut a lot out for taking the photo, so I didn't take like a panoramic view of this guy's playhouse, but I was impressed with it, and the fact that he just sat there and let me take pictures of him was fascinating too. I'm glad he did that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this layout by continuing to add a little bit of flowers here and there, trying to figure out where the best placement would be, because of the tucking and whatnot. I only had two full blown flowers, and I definitely did not want them, to be really hidden. I at least wanted some full flowers, so that way the half flowers did make sense. I'm also going to add a little bit of twine around my planks. Now, the first thought that I had in my brain was that I wanted the twine to go from stack to stack to stack, just like the playhouse. And when I first started wrapping it and then stringing it, I thought, oh, now it's way too busy. That's not going to happen. But it would look cute if I just wrapped a couple planks with, wrapped the twine around the planks a couple of times. And I think that it still gives it that good representation. I also think that it finishes off a couple of the clusters. I really like it. If I'm allowed to say I like my own things. But I'm glad that I went this route instead of trying to figure out how to get this twine to wrap, from platform to platform. And so, yeah, I'm just wrapping it 3 times and then doing a square knot, and I'm done. That's it. I do it on two more little planks. I keep forgetting what to call them. Are they slabs? Are they planks? They're just pieces of wood grain paper is what they really are. Anyways, you guys, I just love how this all looks. I love, I don't know. I'm impressed. And this was just all scraps thrown together from all different things. My wood grain bin, my travel bin, my space bin, a leftover die cut file, a pocket page card. I just really enjoyed how this came together, even though that's a lot of stuff on one layout. It still looks like it belongs. I really do. I love the fact that the world globes are very, very shiny in the center, but they're kind of sort of hidden by everything else on top of them. So they're toned down quite a bit by everything else, all the different layers and whatnot. Alrighty. Thank you so much for checking out the layout today. I almost said something very conceited that would not have been nice. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please be sure to check out everyone else that is hopping along with their scrap adventure, the Baby Got Scraps series. I do love watching how other people use their scraps. It is so much fun. And I will check y'all later. Bye.